Real quick, bruh. Real quick. Whoever is watching this and who's witnessing this video, you're witnessing the inception of something amazing. I just want to say that. You're witnessing one of the greats. You're witnessing you. You're witnessing God working. You're witnessing a prophet to nations. That's what you're witnessing. This ain't no ordinary vid. Let me just say that right now. This is a whole portal that you finna step into. And I'm gonna take you guys along with me. You, the dude watching this video, or the gal that's watching this video, you're about to witness greatness. That's all I'm saying. And I'm going to keep saying it as I go on with these vids because that's the energy I'm coming with. I'm pure confidence from here on out because I'm done playing. And I know the internet doesn't know me because I keep a low profile, but I'm done playing. All right? I'm done playing. I'm done playing. Like, I'm done playing. Y'all gonna film me and y'all gonna witness. Y'all are witnessing something. All right? This is God. This is Elroy. You feel me? What does Elroy mean? The Lord that sees me? I'm gonna get it. Elroy though, for those who know. Oh my God. One thing I love about this book is very spiritual based. So she has like a lot of affirmations and a lot of language that coexists with, like, you can believe whatever you want to believe in, but there's a divine power, there's a God, and interpret it as you will, but there's a God. And I believe in God. And I believe in the source of God. I believe God is all-encompassing, omnipotent. You feel me? Like, we can go on and on. And as I go through this too, I'm a minister too. You feel me? Because God been working in my life, for real. There's some creative affirmations I want to share. Not all of them, but I'm going to say this. She says, I am a channel for God's creativity, and my works comes to good. My dreams come from God, and God has the power to accomplish them. As I create and listen, I will be led. Creativity is the Creator's will for me. Through the use of my creativity, I serve God. I'm willing to let God create through me. I'm willing to be a vessel for the Lord. I am a vessel for the Lord. All right. So there's that. So let me hurry up. So, because this video is way too long. But she decides to she Mrs. Cameron, some of her assignments is like, hey, bro, like, you gotta write your morning pages, 3 pages every morning. So, and I said that. So that's what I did in week 1. I did my morning pages 3 times during that week. I need to get better at that. So it's like every day I gotta write. Every day I gotta write. Every day I just want to write. It can be just the same phrase, same word over and over and over again, but it's gotta be 3 pages minimum. And for my interpretation, the next assignment was oh, and yeah, also she like suggested like write your negative affirmation, like write the negative blurts that come in your head and subvert them into positive affirmations. So I did that and it was cool. I'm not gonna share them because of time, but like it was good. Like I realized some of the things that I say to myself and some of the negative things that I say to myself that hold me back from my true potential. And so yeah, I can't find it, and that is fine. All right, so the next assignment was take yourself on an artist day, and I took on, and an artist day is like when you go out and then you kind of experience something. What? How did she say you go and go to a museum, go to go see a show, stuff like that. Just go take on yourself on a solo date to, that kind of tickles your creative brain in a sense. Scratches it where it needs to be scratched. And I feel like I already do that, like just naturally. I like to go to creative places. I like to experience creative things. But so this is what I went to. I went to a bookstore. I went to a bookstore in Winston-Salem and kind of just like, look through and yada yada yada. I went to the poetry section and because I love poetry. Like, that's just me. I love poetry. So I went to the poetry section, checked out some books there, and it was cool. And then I went to an open mic, and then I shared at the open mic. Like I shared some pieces I'm working on, and that felt good. And that just felt good. And then I went to go see a performance of Newsies at a local high school. I saw the church that I go to. I saw my pastor's kids perform, and they killed that. They killed it. Long story short, they killed that because I love theater, and that did so much for me during that week. I was just like, yeah, it hits. And I watched a few stories of the Love Story on FX. I like it personally. I love that series. I thought it was well done. So yeah, there's that. List 3 old enemies. I'm not gonna go into them. I listed 4 enemies. All of them kind of had this same commonality where I felt like they were judging my art objectively, and they were projecting onto my art through their own whatever, you feel me, through whatever they got going on inside of them. And I don't like that, you feel me. I feel like that kind of just like, I don't like that. So, and I don't want to share it, but just know I documented it, and because they are people that are still alive, and that, yeah, so we'll leave it like that. But I listed them. I listed my 4 creative enemies. Next assignment was write a horror story from your monster hall of fame. And I'm gonna share it. What I wrote was your creative horror story, like some, that just kind of like, oh snap, like that happened, this was embarrassing. So I spent some time in Chicago. I wrote down, I spent some time in Chicago, and I pulled up to Young Chicago Authors. And if you're in Chicago and you know about the Young Chicago Authors, dope spot. I love Young Chicago Authors, and it's got a rich history of artists that have pulled through there and grown out of it. And I was very excited to pull up. I performed 2 times there, and the second time I pulled up, I could tell, and I performed. I could tell it wasn't resonating. I could tell I could tell no one was feeling it. So that was a moment where I felt really, really embarrassed. Like I felt incredibly embarrassed and almost felt discouraged to pursue, because there's a lot of context, and I'll share that as I go. But yeah, I felt discouraged about that. So that's kind of a horror story. The next story was write a letter in your defense to an editor. And I wrote, to whom it may concern, Kobina Selby is worth the investment. Kobina Selby is worth the investment. His authorship towards his writing is what sets him apart from his counterparts. Yeah, like that. And next assignment was time travel and list 3 old champions of your creative self-worth. I wrote down, and all of them are English teachers, and I'm gonna talk about them. Like I'm gonna cut this video into like 2 sections because we're at 32 minutes. Like this is OD, so I'm gonna cut this into two vids. Yeah, we gonna do that. Yeah, we gonna do that. 3 old champions. Mrs. Dillon is the first one. Mrs. Dillon, my high school English teacher. I believe I had her my sophomore year, and she was my theater director. And we started to really create, like we started to connect on a creative level, and it felt divine. It felt kismet between us. I felt like she saw me. She always encouraged me to pursue my creative, ideas, and she pushed me as a writer. She pushed me as a poet, as a performer, and she like pulled something out of me. Yeah, she pulled something out of me, and I appreciate her. I appreciate her for that, and it did wonders for me. One thing that she always told me was that, Kobe, you got charisma, and like you got charisma that can take you places. And I always took heed to that, and that always like boosted my confidence. So yeah, Mrs. Dillon. And there's so much I can say about her. So much. Every time I go, like every time I perform poetry, every time I think about writing poetry, I think about her. And yeah, this thing stopped. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Something is bothering me. My second creative champion is Mr. Avatar. Mr. Avatar was a key part to me becoming fascinated with creative writing. He handed me the tools and technicalities as an artist, or as a creative writer, and it, like when I discovered creative writing, it kind of just like did something to my brain chemistry where it was just like, oh wow, like, oh, like you can do this, like you can write like that. Bet, you feel me? So yeah, he did a lot for me. Like he did a lot when it came to pursuing creative writing, and to pursuing creative writing as a profession. As I look in hindsight, Mr. Avatar has a very creative, he's an intellectual, he's very politically and racially and historically aware and astute. And I think that energy rubbed off on me as a conscious, just in terms of consciousness and being conscious of what's going on. And he definitely like seeped that into my brain. I can't speak on my counterparts at that time, but as for me, he did something for me. And creatively, that did something, just in terms of, I feel like as a creative, and especially as someone that wants to stand for something, like that was an element that was kind of handed to me. Like, hey, bro, like you got to be conscious of this. Like you got to be, and like he even taught us how to be journalists, and like that did some, like being aware on current events, like what's going on in the world. Like that's important. What's going on in your communities, like what's going on, beyond the borders. And he made us write about it and talk about it in class. And so I can go on and on about Mr. Avatar too, because he's one of those teachers, and that's why teachers are important. That's like, hey, bruh, you got agency. Like you got agency to your voice, and your voice matters, and how you go about your voice matters. Like it matters. It's not yada yada. Like it matters. How you pull up in life, it matters. So, and what you stand for and what you learn, like all of it matters. Excuse my language, but like it matters. I'm sorry, I get passionate about it because like yes. So Mr. Avatar, and if he ever, if he's watching this too, it's like, sir, like, and he's bilingual too. Like he's yeah. As I'm talking, like yeah, I think all of that just it did something for me. Like having that energy at that time. Like I don't know. I can go on and on. Mr. Avatar, GOAT. Mrs. Pulsifer, she was my freshman year English teacher, and she instilled a literary confidence in me. She, in her own way, validated my writing. Um, she and I say that because like she pushed me. She's one of those like she's very strong, has a maternal energy. She has this mother energy to her, but it's very stoic, it's very principled, and and she pushed me as a reader. And I forgot forget what the class was, but she pushed me as a reader and writer, and yeah, so and then she also was the head teacher of like the Struan, or like the advisor for the Struan. And all 4 years I was in that club, I learned so much from her. I learned so much from her. I learned so much from her leadership. I always remember, like, I appreciate watching leaders lead. And she was a leader, short and simple. And, I gained an enormous amount of confidence participating in the Struan. And the Struan is, this creative publication at my high school that, the student body can submit their work. And, as an editor, like we edit, we put it together, yada, yada, yada. So that did a lot for me optically. And, yeah, I learned so much from it. 3 champions. Those are my 3 champions. Next assignment was, um, select it and write out one happy piece of encouragement. Write a thank you letter, mail it to yourself or to a long lost mentor. I wrote a thank you letter to myself, and I said, Kobe, thank you for being you, for always standing firm within your spirit, man, for never wavering in what you believe in. And yeah. Next assignment was time travel and or not time travel. If you had 5 other lives to lead, what would you do with each of them? And I said I would be the teacher, an English teacher, or a creative writing teacher, and I said or I would be a lawyer, I would be a model, or I would be a soccer player. I played a lot of soccer growing up, football growing up, or I would be a visual artist, like a painter, or a surrealist drawer of some sort. And yeah, that was basically it. And yada yada yada, like all like yeah, that was basically it. And you know, I'm gonna keep going with these vids. I know this was long. This was 41 minutes of me just being just doing whatever. But I'm doing this because I want to see me do it. I don't care how long it's gonna take. I'm doing it. I'm not trying to do this to be perfect. I'm really trying to grow out of this, and I needed to do this. And once again, whoever is watching this, however this digital footprint of mine, wherever it leads to, I'm saying this like, first, you're not too late. Second, you're not too late. Third, you're not too late. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and just pivot. Go ahead and pivot to what you want to pivot into. Forgive yourself 1,000,000,000 times. Move on and let's get to it. Additionally, you are witnessing greatness. And I want to affirm right now, in the presence of my God, in the presence of these, of this portal, you're witnessing greatness, and you're going to see me. You're going to hear about me. In some way or fashion, you're going to hear about me. And you're going to see what I'm like. You're going to see me. And I will. I will be what I dream to be. I will. And I am what I dream to be. I am the dream. I am the dream. I am the I am. Right? So, I am what I am. And I am what I say I am. Right? So, look. Love, peace, week 1, Artist Way. Deuces.